Today we are gathered here in this YouTube video to discuss my hatred of chiropractors. There are many people out there who dislike chiropractors nowadays, especially in the age of TikTok due to all those cringeworthy videos with cracking noises so loud they cannot be healthy for you. Each internet chiropractor trying to one-up each other by getting the cracks louder and louder, the patients younger and younger. There are even some ridiculous signs out there saying chiropractors can cure autism, which is just insane. However, my disdain for chiropractors started at a much younger age than most. It all started for me at age 11. I was in 6th grade of middle school. It was an early morning. My mom had just woke me up. I went to get dressed for school, which I loathed in general, and was constantly in trouble for missing too much or taking too long in the bathroom. Today was a PE day, also known as physical education, which I also loathed. The day was already stacked against me, so I put on my shirt all angsty-like. As I put my head through the hole, my neck let out a sickening crunch. I instantly screamed in pain, tears following instantly. My mom ran in the room to see what was wrong. I retold the story and she was doubtful. One could injure themselves by simply putting on a t-shirt. Looking back, I understand her point of view. I was far past the allotted 5 days of school you can miss without an excused absence. The principal was about to get involved. Plus, my mom knew it was a PE day, so of course she was doubtful. I mean, who wouldn't be? Seriously, who injures themselves putting on a t-shirt? Who does that? However, at the time, 11-year-old me did not understand that and was livid. Couldn't she see my neck wouldn't move? The side of my head was stuck to my shoulder in a very unnatural position. Yet, I was sent off on the school bus like it was a normal day. First period was the wretched thing they call PE. I was feeling very conflicted that day because, yes, I hated gym, but there were 2 activities I liked in that class: ice skating and floor hockey. The ice was finally ready. Well, it didn't take much for the ice to be ready. I lived in Maine, close to Canada, so there are more cold days than there are warm. However, I couldn't bend down to tie the skates due to the awkward position of my neck. The gym teacher didn't notice, but the class ed tech did. I don't know if everywhere calls them ed techs, but ed techs are like special education teachers added to classrooms where they have a student or many students with learning disabilities. Anyway, she noticed I was struggling with tying my skates. Then her eyes widened at the sight of my neck. I was sent to the nurse's office immediately. My mom was called and I was promptly sent to a hospital. All the nurses and doctors were shocked to see an 11-year-old with a full-blown muscle spasm. Then the doctor was even more shocked that it was one of the worst ones he'd seen. He couldn't move my neck without risking breaking it because the muscle was so tight. I was given muscle relaxers and wasn't allowed to leave until the doctor could position my neck into the right position. I think we were there almost the whole day. I remember my mom feeling so bad and repeatedly apologizing. If I remember correctly, I wasn't angry for long because I got McDonald's. However, I could be wrong. I was very high on painkillers and muscle relaxers. The doctors recommended I see a chiropractor. At the time, I had already seen a physical therapist for a sprained spine. This was another shocking injury due to the fact that I sprained my spine doing the standardized push-up test every American public school makes you do. The PE teacher did not believe that injury either. However, I went to the hospital that night again, befuddling doctors. Anyway, since the doctor saw my previous injuries in the chart and that I had already been to physical therapy, they wanted to try something new. Which leads us to my canon event where my hatred of chiropractors started. Dude, this chiropractor barely took a family history, okay? But instead got straight to work. I laid flat on the table while he rolled over in his office chair. He sat just above my head, grabbed the back of my neck while holding my jaw, one hand on each side, then promptly turned my head sharply to the left. I let out the loudest scream. I'm sure you could hear it in the waiting room. My mom was instantly standing up asking if I was okay. The chiropractor spoke for me. She's fine. The noise of the snap just scared her. Tears silently fell down my face. I could not speak. The pain was too much. I couldn't speak. And this chiropractor was putting words in my mouth. My lip quivered, yet no words left. Then another snap happened when the chiropractor wasn't even touching my neck. It was my neck slipping back into place. I took the biggest gulp of air inside in relief. I felt I was gonna throw up from how dizzy I felt. He then handed me some BioFreeze to take home and apply to my neck. It's similar to Icy Hot. You apply it to sore muscles. It starts off cold, then warms up. My mom never made me go back. She talks about the incident like it's from a horror movie where that girl's neck spins around. As I said earlier, I was only 11 at the time and I had no idea what a chiropractor was. Little did I know that you should never let them touch your neck, and how many people have literally died from neck alignment adjustments because they shouldn't be doing that.
Ada police are investigating the death of a man who died after a visit to the chiropractor. I'm Paul Folge.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Shambach. Jeremy Youngblood died earlier this month. The medical examiner says he had a stroke caused by manipulation of the neck. Eyewitness News 5's Michael Seiden is live at the courthouse. Michael, you just talked to Youngblood's family attorney.
That's right, Jessica. The family's attorney says he is still conducting his own investigation, gathering the facts, but he told me that he anticipates once he finishes his investigation, filing a lawsuit against this chiropractor.
This 28-year-old woman was paralyzed by a chiropractic adjustment. Meet Caitlin Jensen, a Georgia Southern graduate whose life took an unfortunate turn during a regular visit to a chiropractor. Caitlin was experiencing stiffness in her neck after long periods of sitting at a desk while studying for finals. She was otherwise healthy and active. She had visited her chiropractor for similar issues in the past. Unfortunately, this time,
4 arteries were ruptured. She suffered a stroke and cardiac arrest.
and you know how I feel about chiropractors. Her, well, dodgy chiropractic technique.
That was a near-death experience, and I didn't even know. I didn't know the dark history behind chiropractors to begin with, that they only go to college 6 to 7 years when other specialties go for 11 years or more. Chiropractors had to fight to be considered doctors because scientific evidence for their practice was lacking. If you want to learn more about the torrid history of the chiropractor practice, I highly recommend you watch AJ Talks a Lot video about chiropractors called Chiropractor / the most accepted scam in America. I will tag her channel and leave the link down below in the description. She makes fabulous videos and I highly suggest it. But yeah, very scary experience, and watching her video actually reminded me of that time I almost died and I didn't know I almost died. I hope you enjoyed hearing one of my many near-death experiences. I have many more I could make videos about, so stick around. Comment down below your opinion on the practice of chiropractors or your own near-death story. Anyway, most importantly everyone, stay weird. Bye!